Welcome to the I2 podcast. Our passion is to see the influence in everyone lead to impact everywhere. I'm so excited to jump into our episode today. Are you ready? Let's go.
Here live at the Bash. So excited for this evening. And to get us kicked off, we're going to have a little live podcast action. So while you're hanging out, feel free to come over, check out our podcast. I am joined by none other than one of my great friends, more than a friend, more like a brother.
Yeah.
My man, the credentials go on forever. I'm not even going to take time to list all of them, but just a friend, church planter, husband, father. So excited to be joined with my main man, Myron Pierce.
Come on, man. Such an honor to be here.
Man,
come on, man. This is fun tonight.
How you doing?
Doing well, man.
Dude,
it's good.
So excited to just be having this podcast together. Influence to impact. We're talking about using our God-given influence to see impact around the world. You're going to be sharing your story later on tonight.
Yeah.
But just like in 30 seconds, give people a glimpse of what you're doing today. I know you plant churches, you start businesses. I mean,
you just said it.
The question is, what don't you do? Man, just like give us a little glimpse into like what are you doing today?
Oh man, you know what? I like to say it like this, Josh. I'm working in tandem with two things: ministry and marketplace.
Yep.
And I think, as we've done ministry in the hood, in the inner city, it just warrants us to think creatively about how we impact people from the marketplace all the way to ministry, man. So it's been fun to be a part of that.
Yeah. For those who don't know, obviously you've planted some churches, you've started some businesses. Just from a numbers perspective, like how many churches have you been a part of, birthing, how many businesses? Like, man, give us a picture of what that looks like.
Yeah. So I literally counted up over the last 10 years, and it's been about 13 different expressions that have come out of things that we've done or things when I went to Colorado. 2 more churches came out of that. And so, like, after doing the numbers and honestly, man, just seeing, like, even next year, 5 more churches being planted. So it's cool.
Come on.
It's cool, man.
So you got that aspect of things. Then you got the business side.
Yeah.
And I feel like you just like wake up and you sneeze and a business idea comes out.
All the time. It's bad.
How many different businesses have you been a part of starting now? And maybe tell us about 1 or 2 of them that you're excited about.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of ideas, right? And so only a few have really stuck. And so obviously I was in a meeting today talking about how a couple years ago I came out the house and I looked up in the sky and it was raining money. Like money was coming down.
I haven't had that vision yet. I haven't gotten that one.
No, it wasn't a vision. It was serious. Money was falling from the sky.
Come on, man. Where you live?
Yeah. North Omaha. yeah. And so, but what happened was this. It was hail that was coming down.
Right.
And so I thought, man, we're like, here I am, and we're just letting this money hit the ground without going. So talking to one of my friends, I'm like, hey, let's go ahead and launch a company.
Come on.
And so here we are 2 years later, and it's a success, man. And so a few other businesses, man, that God's blessed me to be a part of. It's been great.
Well, one of the things I love about you is like, sometimes some of us get ideas and we think about them and we think about them and we think about them.
Right.
Man, you get an idea and you're like, let's try this thing out.
Yeah.
Let's test it out. And you're not afraid to fail.
Right.
Which I think is also part of the reason that you've been so successful. I mean, that's just a like small highlight reel of all that you have going on. Written a couple of books.
Yeah.
You speak all over the place. You're going to be speaking here at our Bash tonight.
Yeah.
I know conferences like Exponential, and you're a part of their team now. So you're everywhere doing amazing things. That's a little bit of the highlight reel. But just like, take us back to, I know your story. It didn't start out that way.
Right.
And at a young age, I mean, you were looking at facing some serious time in prison.
Yeah.
Tell us just briefly about that.
Well, yeah, man. When I look at just my life, the reality is, there's a movie just came out of Omaha.
Yep.
And when I think about that movie, I think about how that's a lot of our story. And I think it's touching up the post of North Omaha right now that a lot of us have grown up in such disparity, man. And so when you look at it, I was just thinking about this the other day, and I've been finding myself thinking about this and reflecting on kind of where I am now. And yet the reality, man, when you're a 16-year-old kid and you're standing in front of the judge facing 100 years in the penitentiary, there's no hope. And just 18 months after that, facing double the amount of time. I'm just counting myself, honestly, man, blessed and thankful that God was merciful to me, man.
I mean, I love when you tell the story of getting into that position and you're getting ready to kind of deal with the reality of decisions that you made.
Right.
And you basically put it out to God. You're like, man, God, all right, I'm giving up. But if you change me, I'll serve you.
Yeah.
And he started to do something in you.
Yeah.
And even while you were in prison, for me, this is the most powerful part of your story. Like, this gets me so excited. Because while you are in prison,
yeah,
I think you did more with your life than many of us do while we're outside of the prison walls. Like, what did that look like? Once you knew you were going to be there, how did you start to grow and develop and pursue your purpose?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So one of the things that I think is very, very important, Josh, is this. While I was in that process, obviously I came to know Jesus.
Yeah.
But I didn't know a thing about faith. And so part of being in prison was me learning what it meant to believe God.
Wow.
And when you talk about being a Christ follower, when you're talking about being a man of influence, I think one of the marks of an influencer is the ability to have faith. And I spell faith R-I-S-K.
Wow.
Right? And so I think one of the things that became apparent to me is that great faith happens in a crucible. Great faith doesn't happen when everything's going right.
Wow.
Great faith doesn't happen when you're comfortable. Great faith doesn't happen when you have all your solutions.
Wow.
Great faith doesn't happen when you've solved all the problems. Great faith happens when you have a problem.
Wow.
Right? And so in the middle of that, that's what I learned in the process. And had it not been for prison, had it not been that I was in this crucible, had it not been that I was seemingly disadvantaged, I would have never learned what it meant to take risks. I would have never learned what it meant to believe God in the face of such adversity.
Wow. I think that's so huge because so many times in pursuit of our purpose or pursuit of impact, we want things to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And what you're saying and what I've seen is that problems are actually a part of helping us discover our purpose.
Yes.
And challenges, because challenges start to help us recognize what's inside of us and also start to give us a vision for what we can be a part of when it comes to being a part of the solution.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
We don't know our purpose until we're confronted with a problem.
Come on, man.
A lot of people say this, well, I want to know what my purpose is for my life, and I want to know what God has for me. He's like, hey, here's a problem.
Yep. Come on.
You want to know?
So you're telling me the key to finding your purpose is going to prison?
I don't know about that,
but I do think we all find ourselves in our own prisons.
Right.
Now, you were you were locked up in one of the lowest points of your life. Many of us find ourselves in those moments where we're lowest, God actually gets closest.
Right.
And we start to discover something that he created us for, this thing called purpose.
Right.
And so you're in prison, you're at your lowest, man, God meets you and is close to you.
Right.
You start to discover something greater and start to develop risk and faith. Tell me about the process of developing yourself, because this is what most people don't know. You've got like a stack. I mean, I wish you'd have brought that stack.
I know, I forgot.
Of accomplishments, of awards, of things that you did while you were still locked up. You didn't wait till you got out to live out your purpose. You started doing it right where you were.
Because here's what I discovered. This is what I discovered. So while I'm in the penitentiary, I find out my purpose. Right? I find it out. Now I have a problem. It's my freedom. I don't have it.
Right.
But while I was there in the penitentiary, I found out why I was created.
Come on.
Now, here's what I knew. I knew where I was wouldn't be forever.
Right.
And so
Right.
I decided that in the process, I was going to practice.
Come on.
I decided
Come on.
in the process, I was going to practice.
Come
What was
on.
I going to practice? I was going to practice pastoring people when I never had a church.
Wow.
I was going to practice communicating when I never had an audience. And I tell my church all the time, I say this, I say, you know, before I ever had an audience to preach to, I was my audience. I was the pastor.
Come on.
The congregant, the usher, the bishop, the director of operations.
And I've seen it.
and everything. But I practiced because I saw where God was taking me.
Come on, man.
And I think a lot of times, and you know this, a lot of times people see our highlight reel.
Yes.
But they don't know the process.
Right.
They don't know the pain. They don't know the loneliness of being abandoned. They don't know the pain of people giving up on you, saying he's gonna be just like his daddy.
Right.
And so what I had to do is I had to intentionally decide that I was gonna practice. And so consequently, as I practiced, I got better at my craft.
Come on.
As I practiced, I got even more passionate, all these P's, I got even more passionate about where God was taking me. And you talk about accomplishments, man, one of the things that I realized is that practicing takes learning.
Yeah.
And when you talk about influence, when you talk about impact, a lot of people from where we come from, it's always somebody's fault.
Right.
We never take responsibility for our actions. And one of the things that I learned while in the penitentiary, while I'm facing some of my greatest problems, is that when I take responsibility my future, and stop allowing the man or stop allowing people to dictate whether or not or who I will become, it's like, no, the whole game changed.
Come on.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so I say this, man, I practice learning. I practice learning how to look somebody in the eye and have an intelligent conversation.
Come on.
I practice having confidence and, and the wherewithal to stand even though everybody around me in the penitentiary is falling.
Wow. I love it because the area you practice is one of the most difficult places to practice.
Right.
But because you practice there, once you got out, hello. I mean, it was a whole nother ball game. Hey, real quick though.
That's powerful.
One of my favorite stories, and what I hear you saying and what I see so clearly in your story is our purpose isn't what we're doing or where we are, it's who we are.
Yeah.
And so whether you're in a prison or whether you're free, you can still pursue your purpose.
Yes.
And you can practice.
Well, so I'm glad you said that because we equate our purpose with activity.
Yes.
And our purpose has nothing to do with activity.
Yeah.
Our purpose has to do with who he is and who I am.
Come on.
Like my number one purpose in life isn't to be a pastor.
Right.
My number one purpose in life isn't to be a business leader.
Yep.
My purpose in life is to know and to be known.
Come on.
And you could do that from anywhere.
Come on. Hey, one of my favorite practicing stories though. And this is what I love. I mean, this is one of my good friends right here. I practiced on the basketball court. He practiced in another environment, but like so similar in the pursuit and purpose God has for us today. But you used to practice with the locks in the prison cell.
Don't tell everybody that.
Hey, let's whisper it on. Like, bro, tell us about that.
Okay, so the short story is I found out that Jesus talked to a fig tree, right? Mark 11. He goes up to the tree, the brother hungry. Not even hungry, the brother hungry.
Hangry.
He goes, he's hangry. He's hangry. So he's hangry. So he goes up to the tree and there's no fruit on it. The next part of the scene, he speaks to the tree. I said, either he crazy or something to it. So he tells the tree, no man's ever going to eat from you again. 24 hours later.
That thing gone.
That thing was gone, man. I learned something. I learned that I have to participate with my purpose. I have to participate with what God is doing. It's not just practicing, it's partnering. And I learned how to partner with God in a hard place.
Come on.
And so what I did is I would go to the locks and I would look down at the locks and I would say, God said you got to let me go. So I would practice speaking to the locks
Come on, man.
and telling the locks that they had to let me go Because I was a free man waiting to be released.
Come on, man. You spoke to your pillow, too.
I spoke to my pillow. I said, you've been good to me. You've been really good to me.
Come on,
We've
man.
had some sleepless nights and some sleepful nights, but I got to go.
Come on.
I got to go.
Hey, like, the crazy thing is, this is real.
For real,
like,
man.
Your story is so real, and the process that you've been on to get to where you are. Again, people see you, man. They hear you speak. They might read your books. They'll see your blogs. They see the businesses you're starting. They see the churches you're planting. But you did not start there.
No.
You started in a prison cell.
Man.
Starting to allow God to change you. And then right where you were, you said, man, I want to be about something that's greater than myself.
Right.
And you started practicing.
Right.
And practicing and talking to locks and pillows and guards and people in your that were living in the same area. Like, you started living it out and practicing it right there, which then you're ready to get released.
Right.
And so you're not starting fresh when you get released.
No.
You're just continuing on what you've already started when you were on the inside.
It's kind of like when you play ball for Bellevue, right? That was a level that you practiced at. That was a level that you played at. That was a level you were coached at. But that level that you practiced at and you were faithful in prepares you for the next.
Come on.
It prepares you to play ball for Creighton.
Come on.
And so while I was transitioning from the penitentiary to real life, I was ready for the next level because I was faithful at the last.
Come on. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? And I think, honestly, that's one of the lost gems of even our generation, the millennials, of thinking like overnight something's going to happen. No, you better play where you're at faithfully.
Yes.
And it'll prepare you for platforms later.
Come on. Come on.
Yeah, man.
I mean, what we're talking about is this idea that every single one of us has influence. And God wants to take our influence.
That's it, man.
And he wants to use that influence to impact the world around us, no matter where we are, whether we're in prison, whether we're on a platform, whether we're in another country. He wants to use us to impact the world. And a key to that in understanding our purpose is practice.
That's it.
And there's a process.
Yeah.
And to hear your story, this is the thing that I think is so cool. Not everybody's been where you've been.
Yeah.
But if they want to get to where you are, they've got to put in the time.
That's it.
And the practice. And any of us can do that.
Right.
We can pursue God's plan by putting in the practice. I mean, just as people are listening and they're thinking about their influence and they're saying, man, I want to be a person of impact. What is an encouragement that you would give them even right now that would say, man, this is what you can do to take another step in being a person of influence?
Find a vision you can get behind and serve.
Well,
a lot of us have vision, but we don't want to get behind nobody else's vision.
It's good.
And I think the vision I get behind that's not mine prepares me to own one when I have it.
Come on. Find a vision.
Get behind it.
Find a cause.
Yeah.
Get behind it. There's one sitting right next to me. Mission.
Yeah.
The movement. Abide. Bridge. We've got them all over our city.
Right.
Find it. Get involved. Take the next step. And watch what happens in your own life.
That's it.
That's good, bro. Hey, Myron Pierce, my main man. Hey, if people want to get a hold of you, where can they find you? I know you all over social. Where can they find you, man?
MyronPierce.com are all the social platforms that are available.
Make sure you go check him out. My main man. I guarantee we are going to have a follow-up, probably 10 more follow-ups, because we can sit and talk all day. So good. We just want anybody and everybody to know you don't have to do everything, but God has called you to do something. Use your influence, maximize your influence, use it to impact the world around you. Love you guys. Thanks so much, Myron.
Yes, sir. Thanks,
Appreciate
bro.
you.
Yep.